it your first year at the Jitex, or have you been here before?
This is not my first time I'm at the Jitex.
Okay, so can you just give a brief overview of Sophos as a company?
Well, Sophos is a pure security vendor, and we're covering different security solutions for endpoint security, for UTM security in terms of networking security. We have mobile security on it as well as encryption. And we are bringing all these solutions together, and we have also a very exciting roadmap ahead of us. So it's a very focused security company doing a great job.
Don't you think the security market is getting very overcrowded of late? There are too many vendors, too many solutions coming up. So how do you differentiate yourself?
This is an excellent question. There are a lot of security vendors, but then there's also a very big need for very different solutions in the market. Now we have the, let's say, fortunate situation and opportunity that we have quite a few different security solutions that we can put into play in one system, right? So we cover different things, but still provide as one vendor an integrated approach. And this integration is currently on the road to develop, and we have development processes coming within the next 6 months about where we see an even tighter integration, for example, on mobile security and UTM technologies, where we see the cloud strategy being integrated into it. So there are very excited times ahead of us.
So are you focusing on some latest solution of yours at this Jitex?
At the Jitex here, we promote a few selected topics. The one is the UTM topic that we promote in combination with our mobile security and our endpoint technology, also in combination with our new cloud offering.
So could you give us a brief about your focus points?
You mean on the
focus areas you have for this Jitex?
On the one is the new version of the UTM that is out. That includes new hardware, which gets way higher and extreme competitive performance. We have new features on the Wi-Fi coming out. We have over the time started to integrate the endpoint technology also into UTM. And what we have now launched is for the endpoint part a cloud management system, which I believe is for the market, especially for such a tight market as the endpoint security, an extremely interesting offering, because it will take it will bring towards the channel market the possibility of earning with so to say a similar product in the market a higher revenue, because it's easier to set up, very quicker to deploy. That's, I think, a very interesting and attractive offering to do in the market.
So you talk of the security and then you talk of cloud, because cloud, when you talk, it's about giving in to a common platform, and security is a very sensitive issue. So how do you combine between these two things?
Well, now one needs to define what is cloud and what is not cloud. So what we do is we have the management of the systems in the cloud. That means we don't have any data or such stored in the cloud. If you, for example, refer to that iCloud happening just recently, receiving the photos by breaching passwords and so on. So this is something that we don't deal with because we don't have the data stored in the. So the management, that's a central management platform where one can go on to and have, so to say, the customer configurations in there, but there's no data as such in there. Then, sure, it's a cloud system, so you need to have a proper protection for entering the cloud system, and that's all in there. So yes, it is a sensitive topic, but you need to approach it from the right way in order to be on the safe side.
So do you have solutions for every kind of operating system, or just for very selective?
Well, if you talk about the endpoint part, no, it's for the it's for Windows, it's for Mac, it's also for the Unix systems. So there's a variety of systems that we support, and we are one of the few vendors doing it. If I talk, for example, about mobile solutions, obviously there's the whole Mac platform, there's the Android platforms that we support, the Windows platforms. So we have paid a lot of attention to being broad into the market, to not exclude any, let's say, sales activities that a reseller can do.
So what kind of technological changes have you brought in your solutions, seeing the changes in the cyber threat landscape over these recent years?
Well, one of the big parts, obviously, that's in the market is this whole topic cloud and this request for cloud management. What we did and what we also will kind of in the development process do is that we bring the different layers together, so they interact between each other. So now you have point solutions. For example, you have a UTM solution, you have an endpoint solution, you might have a separate mobile solution. All these things, they run separate, right? So we always have one system, and they report certain things. Now, what we will bring out over the next months is actually a system that if something happens for example, on a mobile system and it doesn't comply to security standards in the company, then we will not be able to actually, for example, enter via a VPN or enter the wireless network in your company if it is protected with the Sophos UTM. Or if you have, for example, some events or let's say unexpected behavior been happening on an endpoint, that you also can trigger certain activities on the networking part. May it be a quarantining system, or may it be excluding it from the network traffic. So as these technologies in itself are not new, the way to bring it together will actually offer an additional layer, an additional value towards the customer and the reseller. So that is something in the approach to have an overall broad portfolio interacting together, which is it's simply not there in the market. No one actually has it, and we will bring it very soon in the market.
So what kind of, what principle do you detect your threats? Because mostly, traditionally, we observe that there is a particular signatures with which they detect the threat, and accordingly they act on it. But of late, you're seeing that there are many that unidentified signatures are coming up, for which they escape the security mechanisms and they affect the system. So what system do you have in place for that?
Well, it's actually a mixture. You need to have the signature base because that's still relevant, it's still big in the system. But we have also moved towards all this, what's called in the market, is advanced threat protection, kind of behavioral detection of let's say, malicious activities. And this is a combination of the both that we are running in our systems, and also, again, a combination of both that we can run on the endpoint part as well as on the UTM part. And once all that will very soon be glued together, so that if some malicious behavior happens, something, or maybe some detection of a certain pattern or signatures, you still can execute on a complete different layer and system. So, answer, you need there are different security mechanisms that we apply, and you will basically need all of them.
So what kind of market you have captured already over in this region in Middle East and Africa?
Well, basically in the NEEMEA region, we are widespread already. So it's we are doing if I would just go on the Middle Eastern area, we do business in really all of the countries. Some we do more, some we do less. It's all channel and partner driven, right? So that meaning we're not doing any direct sales. We always work through a distributor channel, then working through the reselling channel, because the reselling partners have the local connections, which are eminent in the region. Pretty much same counts for the African region. So we are working in all the regions, and there's still a lot of room for us to expand with the partners to broaden that reach. And that's also one of the reasons why we are here at the GITEX, to talk to the right people, to show what we have, and also to invite them to come to us so we can have a fruitful cooperation to work in the future.
So what kind of partners are you really looking for? Is it related to some particular vertical or related to some particular technology? What kind of partners are you looking for?
Now, the solutions that we have are not really particularly tailored for any specific vertical. So we have customers across verticals. So if someone is specialized on a vertical and is looking for that particular solution or that security integration, we can serve them. If there's someone that says, no, I have a broader vision on where I want to deploy my security, we can also serve them. That's a quite comfortable position to be in for us as well as for the partners. So in case they also want to broaden their reach and their target market, they can do that with us. So there's no, in that sense, there's no particular focus as such. So we are open.
Security breaches mostly arise out of very minor mistakes or slight awareness missing out. So what kind of an awareness programs do you have in place so that enterprises are aware about the threats, how to respond to the threats on time? What kind of steps you have taken for that?
Now, awareness, there are different things. So one thing is that as you said, there are little mistakes that often make a difference. Obviously, if you see that on a technology side, then I would say it's not so much about the awareness as such, then it's more about the technology competence of configuring, the solutions that you have at hand in order to make it work. Then you have the awareness part, which is more, I would say, the end user, right? If you talk on mobility, then it's more like, how do I use the data I use on the mobile? How do I access corporate networks? Do I have VPN in place and so on? There are certain awareness tools that we use. These are from videos. These are best practices, awareness best practices that we have from Sophos, and that we openly publish, and that also any corporate can use in order to educate, maybe re-educate the employees and make them aware that you're having tools that have an impact if you use it not in a proper way.
And thanks a lot for the interview.
Thank you very much, and talk to you next year again.